awful tough lately.
Action.
Smoking a lot of cigarettes lately.
What we wanted to do was to tell a very complex story quite simply, taking the issue of mental health and psychosocial support for children who've been affected by war and put it in a setting that people would be able to understand and easily digest.
A lot of clients, especially in the third sector, understandably have limited resources and they are only willing to take so many kind of risks. War Child have a history of producing really kind of daring content. We knew when we got the opportunity to pitch through that this would need to be something really kind of bold and beautiful.
I felt from the beginning we all knew that this wasn't just a film and that we were creating something that needed to have a real long-term impact. It was our whole agency involved in creating it.
Our main concern was to make sure that it was as true to life in terms of reflecting the experiences that children go through, but very much it was just allowing the team at Raw to just run with their own creativity.
The distress that children feel after living in a war zone is a very complicated one. So we worked quite closely with a child psychologist that War Child was already working with to ensure that our response to the brief was accurate, was emotionally truthful, and was also kind of understandable to a lay audience.
We find it very difficult sometimes to tell the stories that we need to tell because the children that we work with are in dangerous and inaccessible places. So it forces us to find creative solutions to some of those problems.
We wanted people to watch and to kind of fall in love with the robot because it was a cute character and not necessarily think too much about the wider context, which was, you know, where it had come from, what it had been through, until they realised that actually it's not a robot and that there's a child inside and that, you know, the robot exterior is a reflection of the traumatic experiences that they've been through. But we know that it's a subject that people have seen quite a lot of over the years, so we're looking at kind of a new way to package it to get them to think differently about it.
I think we've found that our audience demographic is possibly slightly younger than some other charities based on our work that we've done with the gaming industry and the music industry, and we were keen to tap into that demographic with this piece.
Huge challenges for this film was creating a robot that would look convincing, that was, you know, possible to make on the budget that we were working with, that would kind of allow us to compete with all of the, you know, major brands that are creating, you know, character-based content at the moment. My favourite part of the design is the eyes and the way they kind of look up and down, especially there's a shot towards the end of the film where she looks up, which I just think is so childlike. There was a lot of discussion, but we were like incredibly safe hands with the costume designer from the get-go. This is very much a smile.
You really do feel that there is a difference when a charity brief comes in, just because we really want to make them happen. So there really is a difference when you're working for a charity client and a corporate client.
So really across the board, it's hit home, and so far the response has been universally positive and on a scale that War Child hasn't experienced in a very long time.